Welcome back to Rome Total War. Rome, summer 101 BC. Persian borderland. Tiberius Aemilius Lepidus is searching for his brother and learns about a Seleucid army nearby. Upon arrival, he found a group of plunderers, deserters, and a strong phalanx of 1,500 men. It was an evenly matched battle, 2,000 against 2,000, but Tiberius Aemilius Lepidus did not hesitate and destroyed the enemy. The winter is harsh and delays the legion's progress, but the winter eventually ends. In Arretium, death is spreading. Numerius Aemilius Scaevorus, an experienced Roman general, has conquered the south of Persia with his troops. The city of Seleucia is now under Roman control. Scaevorus is a seasoned warlord, having earned a reputation as a tactical and disciplined leader in his numerous campaigns. After taking Seleucia, he learned that there are other Seleucid cities nearby that are still under enemy control. He sent out his spies to gather information on the defenses and weaknesses of the Seleucid cities. Scaevorus knows he needs a methodical approach to succeed. He will strategically position his troops and exploit the enemy's weaknesses to ensure a swift conquest. His experience as a general will help him achieve victory. Meanwhile, in Arbela, Tiberius Aemilius Lepidus continues his search for his brother Decimus Aemilius Lepidus. Seleucid prisoners from the battle have reported that he is in the city of Carcathiocerta negotiating with General Sextus Aemilius Mamercus for new troops. Sextus Aemilius Mamercus agrees to provide him with new troops, as previously arranged with Rome. Decimus Aemilius Lepidus exchanges his battered Roman troops for local troops and plans to conquer Arbela with them. Meanwhile, Tiberius Aemilius Lepidus has gained valuable information from his last battle. He learned that other Roman troops are on their way to a city in the north. He decides to find these troops and join them to fight the Seleucids together. But before he can set out, more and more Roman spies are approaching Arbela to gather information about the city and its defenses. The situation in Carcathiocerta is tense. Decimus Aemilius Lepidus is struggling to integrate the local troops due to language and cultural differences. Sextus Aemilius Mamercus is also unhappy with the decision to leave behind the Roman troops. He fears this decision could lead to a loss of military strength. Nonetheless, Decimus Aemilius Lepidus remains committed to his decision and relies on the local troops to conquer Arbela. Meanwhile, Tiberius Aemilius Lepidus sets out to find the other Roman troops. It is a challenging journey as he must fight through enemy territory. In Arbela, the spies collected important information and passed it on to Tiberius Aemilius Lepidus. They reported a well-built defense and a large number of soldiers. Tiberius Aemilius Lepidus and the other troops are aware that the battle for Arbela will be difficult, but they are determined to conquer the city and defeat the Seleucids. They begin preparing for the attack and hope that their united forces will be successful. Overall, the situation in the south of Persia is complex and tense. Further up in the borderlands, the winter was harsh and the legion had to camp outside. Additionally, an enemy army was approaching. The sun burned hot on the borderlands, and the Roman army legionnaires sweated under their armor. The winter had been tough, but now in the summer, life outdoors was just as tough. The men longed for shade and water, but instead, a hostile army was approaching. The hoplites and infantry were led by a Seleucid general who was determined to push back the Romans. Generals Gnaeus Fabius Licinus and Gnaeus Cornelius Arvina knew they had to fight to defend their territory. They continued their path, unwavering in their goal. They were just outside the gates of Armavir and Stida, the two cities that were to be attacked next. Gnaeus Fabius Licinus made the first move and besieged Armavir, while Gnaeus Cornelius Arvina set off to Stida. Day after day, more ships arrived at the port of Italy. The ships were packed with legionnaires returning from the long and brutal Seleucid War. The warriors arrived exhausted, their souls scarred by the terrible events they had experienced. Their eyes were empty and stared into the distance, as if they were still trapped in another world. The port was filled with people waiting for their beloved fighters. The families and friends of the soldiers persevered there, their faces bearing a mix of joy and sorrow. Joy that their loved ones were finally home, but also sorrow for the losses they had suffered. Many soldiers did not return, and the families knew they would never return. As the Legionnaires landed, they were greeted by their families.
Ja, Kapitän.
Touching moments ensued as husbands and wives. Some Legionnaires were unable to walk and had to be supported by their
Momentan geht es
families.
nicht weiter.
Others had been injured